Hello, everyone. How are you? This is Dagmar, your healer, clairvoyant healer, and guide. Boy, we have some very interesting things going on in our world these days. It's been absolutely amazing. And you know, what's amazing too is my own journey that started about 15 years ago, or 16 now. And how far I've come through that journey. And to be able to be here today for you. Yes, in fact, my sole purpose here on earth is to help you in your ascension process, to help you connect with your inner power, to help you raise your vibration, to help you move up into the 5D. Now, not everybody is going to move up into 5D. Lots of us are going to stay behind in 3D, which is okay. You know, in the spiritual world, there's no good, bad, or ugly. There just is. Things just are. It's all for the purpose of learning for the soul. You know, for us old souls who have had enough learning in the energies of suppression and oppression and control and, you know, all that good jazz, you know, we're ready to move up into different vibrations because we want to have different experiences. And, you know, we're ready for them. But some of the young souls may not be. Some of the young souls may want to learn about suppression and oppression and control, what all that means. And so you probably opted to stay in 3D as a soul. So, you know, and it's all good. It's wherever you want to be, where you want to do whatever learning as a soul. But for those of us who want to move up into 5D, I want to speak to you guys and gals, because it's not easy to raise your permanent vibration to move up into 5D, but life is much better up there, okay, in terms of easier a little bit, and not as brutal, I guess, if you will, as it is in 3D or has been in 3D. It's a little bit lighter, I guess, if you might say. It's comparable to, like, you know, in jail, everything's hard, right? Everything's cemented down. There's nothing but cement walls and metal and all that stuff. That's hard. That's heavy, hard. That's the picture of what 3D looks like. And then you have the 5D, which is much lighter, you know, it's more comparable to riding up on a cloud or something. So, you know, depends on where you are, but again, so it's not easy to climb up into 5D because there's a lot of steps we have to do in order to do that. And one of the things I want to talk to you about today is, how do you change your reality by changing your vibration? Now, lots of you in the metaphysical world will nod your head and agree with me that that's what we can do, but lots of you will also not fully understand what I mean by that or what that actually means. I've actually experienced it, and it's a pretty cool thing. It's quite magical, actually. And I'm not talking about changing your reality with, you know, what you think and your thoughts and intentions or that sort. I'm talking a little different here. I'm also not talking about changing your reality by going out there and externally making things happen outside of you by doing. I'm not talking about that either. See, a lot of you are still stuck in the motion of doing externally to change things. Well, I have to tell you that there is a much better way, okay? And I've used this now many, many times over to change my reality. And that is to actually work on changing your vibration. Because if you fully understand that we are creating our reality with our vibration, okay, we're pulling things in or pushing things away, or we're recreating things energetically, all without you physically doing a damn thing, not a single thing, just by being, by existing, by putting out your what does that mean, vibration anyway? We vibrate at a certain frequency. We also vibrate with all the information that we have in our space. And that includes all the experiences we've had, and even in past lifetimes. We vibrate all that. And with that vibration, we pull things in, or we repel things, or we create things without you lifting a single finger. And I know this may sound kind of far-fetched to some of you, but it's really not. It's more real than anything else, and it works better than even you going out there and actually physically doing something, right? And I'm going to give you today some examples of that, of this actually happening in my life with my clients throughout my healing practice, and how this actually works. And, but I have to say that until you actually experience it yourself, you may kind of say, oh, okay, but the key is to actually experience this yourself, because this is where magic happens. It's magical, okay? And so what I'm saying to you is that you can resolve many problems by just changing your vibration. Because if you realize that you are creating whatever you're creating with your vibration. So by changing your vibration, you're going to create something different. So I'm going to pose this question for you, really simple question. You may be sitting at a traffic light, and with a car, it's red. And all of a sudden there comes a car behind you and just slams it into you, right? Did you attract that? Did you do anything, to make that happen? Of course, you sat there just at the right time, at the right moment, in the right place, with your vibrating at whatever frequency you're vibrating. You attracted that. And there was a point in time, and, a lot of you might be in that same place, is that, there was a time when I didn't think I created that. How would I create that? I didn't do anything. I just sat there, right? But that's the point. You sat there. You sat there just at the right time, vibrating your frequency, right? So yeah, it's, some of the stuff, the metaphysical stuff is out there a bit for some of you, but it's actually more real than some of the material stuff, because that out there metaphysical stuff actually is creating all the material stuff. How do I know? Well, I've worked in this industry for quite a few years now, and I've seen the results. So I'm going to give you some examples of how we actually change our reality. I've had a number of things like that happen, like how we say, well, you can't change, so say, for example, someone else, right? Someone else's behavior. You can only change you. But so you can change their behavior by changing you, because if you change you and your vibration, you're actually changing the dynamic between the two of you. And so you are, by default, when you're changing the dynamic of it, actually changing how the other person will respond to the new vibration, quote unquote, right? So can you change your relationships? Absolutely. What if you're living with a narcissist? You're like, oh, you can't change a narcissist. He's always going to be a narcissist, or she's always going to be a narcissist. Perhaps, but you can change the dynamic as to how they respond to you. And perhaps the new response might be that they leave, because they no longer can do with you what they could do with you before if you change your vibration, right? So I had this client one time, and I used this example a lot, so you may have heard it before in one of my other videos, so I apologize if it's repetitive, but it's a really good example, actually. I had a client come to me one time, and she told me that her 20-year live-in boyfriend, by the way, excuse my looks, I have an old t-shirt on and like a chest today. But she had a 20-year live-in boyfriend who would always belittle her, she said. So we did some healings on her. I think after about the fourth healing, she told me, oh, he stopped belittling me. I said, really? Now, we never saw the boyfriend. We never talked to the boyfriend. We didn't heal the boyfriend. We just changed her vibration through the process of healing. Okay. And so he stopped belittling her. We never said anything to the boyfriend. Interesting, isn't it? And yet we changed his behavior by changing her. Because you got to understand that everything in the external world is a mirror to what's happening in our vibration, because we create our reality with our vibration. So it makes only sense that what's in our reality would mirror what kind of vibration we carry, or the frequency of our vibration, right? So so what the boyfriend was actually doing, he was mirroring to her how little she thought of herself. And when we change that in her healing sessions through what I call my own methodology, Arial quantum healing, when we changed that about her and she started being more confident, he stopped belittling her. There was no need to belittle her, because that wasn't what was showing up in the mirror anymore. She was confident now about herself. She wasn't thinking little of herself anymore. And so it happens that quick. And so, a lot of people I hear always talking about how you need to reprogram your subconscious mind to learn different behaviors. No, you don't. You don't have to reprogram your subconscious mind. All you have to do is properly integrate your old unresolved pain is what you got to do. Okay, that's all you got to do. And automatically the behavior changes, even with other people. So how else did I change the reality? Well, I even dissolved court cases with healing. Court cases are based on conflict, right, between two people, right? And one time I had this, I think she was a chiropractor gal that I went to for a while. And she was telling me about her dilemma. She was trying to divorce her husband, who apparently was abusive to their son, who was like about 1 or 2 years old. And so they were going through some kind of a what is it called, arbitration or something like that, before it actually gets to court. They're trying to solve the whole thing without having to go to court. But it was looking like she was going to lose her son to her abusive husband. And no matter what she did, this is what she's told me, she hired all these professionals to talk about how her son was really in bad shape mentally whenever he came home after being with his dad, and all this stuff, right? And nothing would work. And I finally said to her, you know what, you are creating something that's actually from your past. And she trusted me, and she came to me for some healings because I told her we could possibly shift that if she wanted to keep her son. And so we did like around 3 or 4 healings with her, mostly past life stuff, where she had lost her children. And so once we healed that, the entire court thing just turned around. She never had to take her husband to court. He basically, turned around and said, hey, I'll give you everything you want. That's it. That's the whole thing. And so did that change the outcome of what would have otherwise happened? Absolutely. Now you may say, oh, it's just a coincidence. Well, I beg to differ on that one. I've experienced this many times over. In fact, I've used it to specifically resolve situations that I was in where I was feeling pressed, between the rock and a hard wall, where I didn't know a good solution from a physical standpoint to do anything, okay? And every single time I was able to allow reality to resolve itself by just simply changing my vibration, okay? I'll give you another example. You know, I was looking for a place to live a few years back ago. I had specific criteria. It had to be, you know, something I could afford, a certain price, it had to be a certain size. I had a dog that they would have to accept. I had my own business. I would have to be able to work out of my house. You know, and oh yeah, and because I was self-employed, I couldn't show a paycheck. I, you know, basically, you know, was self-employed. Could show you client receipts. But so I needed a flexible owner in that regards. And a lot of the apartment complex, you know, they want that paycheck and that's all they're gonna look at. And so, and I wanted a nice landlord this time because I had the previous landlord I had wasn't so good. So anyway, I started looking and I could not find anything in the Denver area. You know, everything was so expensive. I swear to God, I was looking at like a chicken coop that cost $1,200. And I thought to myself, you know, I wouldn't pay, I mean, I wouldn't, you know, have you pay me to live there, okay? Much less me pay you for it. So it was just like, holy guacamole, you know? And I even kept driving an hour and a half to a different city to look at places there because it was supposed to be less expensive. I couldn't find a thing. And in the meantime, though, I knew that I had some healings to do about stuff that may resolve this whole thing. And so I did. I had to do a number of healings. And all of a sudden, I remember doing healing the last thing that was impeding upon my ability to find just the right spot. And I healed the last thing, and that afternoon I had a place. That fast, immediate manifestation. You may say coincidence. I'd say I beg to differ on that. Done so many times. You know, I had another time I moved into this place. I lived down south for quite a bit. And I moved into this beautiful basement this older couple had in their house, furnished basement, and it had its own windows. It was really quite beautiful. It was 1,000 square feet. It was nice. And the price was reasonable. And I remember moving in there and I don't know, first couple of days, I'm putting up curtain rods, and I'm banging on the wall, a nail into the wall, and the owner, the lady, comes running down the stairs. What are you doing? I'm like, what? I'm putting up curtains. And she's like, oh, you can't do that. You can't put any nails in the walls. And my other tenants weren't allowed to put any nails in the walls. And I don't want any nails in the walls. And I'm like, holy guacamole, what am I going to do with this, right? Because how am I going to put up pictures? How am I going to put up curtains? How am I going to decorate? How am I going to feel like this is my place? You know what I mean? If I can't put up anything on the walls. Something, well, I don't know what to do with this. So I thought, well, there's these strips, these plastic strips I could use, you know, trying to put up, you know, stuff, you know, trying to put up a curtain rod with plastic strips. I mean, how is that going to work? And then, you know, the possibility of when you rip that thing down, it's going to rip up half the wall. It may be worse than a nail. So I thought to myself, you know what, this is interesting because there's some kind of energy that is being displayed to me as a result of her behavior toward me, right? And so, you know what, I'm going to try to shift that by actually shifting it within my vibration. So what I want to do, I did some healings on myself around that energy that I was perceiving, that I was receiving from her. And so I did a number of healings on myself, I remember. And then I asked my spirit, you know, well, how long is this going to take to kind of settle in? And so my spirit told me about 3 days or so. And so on the third day, I spirit, well, would it make sense for me to talk to her about it again at this point? My spirit, yes, you know, the energy settled, all that good jazz, you can talk to her about it now. So I did. I asked her to come downstairs and I started talking to her about it. And her response was this time, oh yeah, no problem. You can use any nail you want, any size nail you want. And in fact, you can put up this big ass mirror that I gave you right here. And you can use the big ass nails and I have no problem with it whatsoever. Seriously. And so, you know, hey, coincidence you may say, but I beg to differ. So you can do a lot with actually changing your vibration, changing your whole reality, whatever situation you're in, okay? If it's something you don't like, if it's something that's happening that's uncomfortable to you, and you know, you can't see a solution, there's always a solution. And the solution is, the most effective solution, I can tell you, is to change your vibration and do some actual healing. Now, how do we actually change our vibration? Well, I've done a lot through the Arial quantum healing by actually healing past unresolved pain, and that includes past lifetimes. And that, you know, what happens with that, because that is what creates the dysfunction in our life, okay, that we don't like, the stuff that we're uncomfortable with. It attracts those people we don't like the narcissists and stuff. You know, it's that dysfunction of that unresolved pain that hasn't been properly integrated. And so I am telling you that by integrating that, you will help yourself hugely in creating the reality you actually do want. That's actually pleasant, the stuff you like. Because when you take that dysfunction out, all you have left is happiness and joy, you know? And that's the difference between the 3D and the 5D. Okay, it's happiness and joy. And so here, it is my sole purpose to help you. That's why I'm here. I've come a long way to be here. I've done lots of healing on myself. I've had lots of experience in this area. I've learned a ton through my spirit, my guide, my higher self, as to how to do this stuff, how to understand what's happening. And I have a very thorough understanding of it. And so here I am. I recently designed this 6-week Arial quantum healing shadow work journey program. And it is designed for you to actually go on your own journey. You can access all the most powerful information and guided healing meditations online 24/7 from the comfort of your home, from anywhere in the world, and work on yourself and start shifting things so that you can actually connect with your power, so that you can connect with your higher self, so that you can resolve some of these things that are causing the dysfunction in your life. So you can start understanding how things are actually working, how you're working. You know thyself, right? Who was that said know thyself? I forget who it was that actually said that, but it was a very wise statement of knowing thyself. So anyway, this is a beautiful opportunity for you to do that. I am presently enrolling people into it. I'm going to post the link below this video, and you can start right away. You can enroll and start right away. And I'll be supporting you throughout your journey. So anyway, I hope this made a lot of sense as to how you can actually change your reality. And not only that, but I almost forgot. You can, every time you change your vibration and your reality, you're actually changing collective reality for all of us. Did you know that? It's very powerful. And so this is how we can actually change our collective reality. All you have to do is work on yourself. And if everybody does that, we will change our collective reality and this whole outcome of where we're headed right now with all this control and suppression, oppression, and takeovers and all this stuff. We can change it all. You can change it all. You have the power. You are powerful beyond measure. And if you're struggling and you continue to struggle, you know what? You aren't tapping into your power. And I'm here to teach you how to tap into your power. So I wish you a wonderful rest of your day.